Alright guys, today I want to have a more serious video talking about the bigger picture for crypto. Yesterday I told you a lot of things that were happening throughout the first quarter of 2021, but today I want to take a bigger look at institutional investors and why I can always stay bullish on XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stuff like that. Well, when I say always, I mean the next couple of years, because just everything is pushing it towards that direction. And that's also why I can make these videos with a very bullish outlook, because even though prices may dip down, it's always going to be temporary. And I want to tell you guys a little bit more about what goes into that thought. However, having said that, make sure you press the like button, subscribe, and comment something down below to enter our 100 XRP giveaway, because that's all you need to do. And if we hit 1,200 likes today, guys, we'll give it away. Having said that, let's move on. By the way, if you want this crypto tracking sheet, which I talk about pretty often on the channel now, all you have to do is become a channel member. It's a couple of bucks a month, and again, you don't have to do this, but it will give you this spreadsheet, and there's a couple other advantages. Otherwise, just kind of look at what I've written here and replicate it. I still recommend using it even if you didn't buy it. Just make it yourself then. Having said that, guys, I think this stuff is very, very important. Why? Well, it shows you the bigger picture of crypto kind of instantly if you already are bullish longer term. So I'm kind of getting two things mixed up, I know, but it's for the bigger picture here, that this sheet is already with the idea in mind that you are bullish long term. And if you aren't, just keep watching here. But if you already are, fill this in. Understand your money. Understand how much you have, how much you spent for that. You can just put in, for example, if you bought XRP 5 times, right? You bought at 22 cents, you bought at 55 cents, you bought at $1, you bought at $2, you bought at 10 cents. And you bought 15,000, here you bought 100, here you bought this amount, I don't even know, this amount and this amount, for example. You bought a freaking ton of XRP over time here. The total cost back then was about $65,000 in total. Back then, I don't really know. You can put dates here, but I don't think that's useful. I think it's more useful whatever you have bought and at how much money it cost. Then you got to cash out or think about your cashing out, right? And here you can see at this point, if you've done this, you've only cashed out about 17% of your total. So let's say you also want to cash out a $25, you want to cash out a $4,500. Bam, we have 23. Okay, so we can put another zero right there, for example. We can put it at 10,000. Bam, 33%. You also want to cash out a $33. You want to cash out a, I don't know, 25,000. And boom, you can just start to see your profit already being at $1 million while only having sold 63% of your money. And you have 30,000 coins left. I think I might have mixed this up right now. I probably did it the other way around, but I'm going to fix that. So don't worry about it, guys. It's 30,000 coins you have left, and you can kind of see it that way. But then you know exactly in how much profit you're going to be if your plan pulls through. And that's also how you can start to calculate your future cash flows and what you want to do with that money to make sure you stay wealthy. So it's not just a one-time thing. Now, there will be a ton of people, and this will always be that way, who are gonna try to slam you down. All right, just slam it on top of your head and trying to make you sell or trying to dim down the retail FOMO. There's a couple of scenarios which we can think out. One, they are getting paid for bearish news. Like this guy here, he is known as Dr. Doom, and it most likely makes him a lot of money being that person, all right? Think about this. Why would you want to be known as a doomsayer if it doesn't make you a frick ton of money? It's not just for the title of being an economist, because even economists like to either come up with crazy theories, but in the end, a lot of them still make money along the way. Some don't, some do it for research, but if you're claiming this heavy stuff here, you're most likely doing it for a couple of bucks on the side as well. It's at least a part of what you're doing. It's part of it. However, another piece that he says is very much true, which is to talk about the manipulation and to also talk about the pump and kind of FOMO. However, I don't think it's retail FOMO, but it is institutional FOMO, and that we'll get into in just a second. So he says your Bitcoin is being heavily manipulated. Well, think about this. If there is institutional FOMO, and if there's institutions who are hoarding this crypto and getting in heavy, and again, I have proof of that, I'll show you guys in just a second, it is very logical that it is being manipulated because there's bigger players at stake here, bigger players at the table, just trying to keep on buying. They're kind of stacked up against each other. And yeah, manipulation goes on then if it's big players amongst each other. We can all understand that, all right? Crypto is being manipulated, yes, 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 but to a certain degree and in a certain direction. You would kind of say that institutions want to keep those prices down, right? You would kind of say that, but that's not always true as well. They might actually want to pump it back up, even higher than all-time high, to maybe 25, 30,000, and then dump it on our heads, which again, I'll get into. So I'm personally sometimes thinking that all this manipulation is part of the bigger picture. Again, I don't want to name these things out loud here because I don't think YouTube likes it too much, but I think you see what I'm highlighting right now, right? That thing right there, it's a lot more apparent and a lot more important than it was a couple of months ago, as the ties here are getting so freaking strong. One of them is that ongoing war between the US and China. This kind of Cold War. It was first for 5G, or maybe not even first, but it was for 5G. There have been a ton of these ones. There's been now the CBDC, and it will just keep going on, right? It is later on going to be the crypto control in general over Bitcoin and stuff like that, but also the bigger picture that these institutions, or maybe, governments, are trying to manipulate our money supply and trying to, well, they of course are manipulating the money supply, but I'm trying to say they're trying to manipulate that in a way at which it will hurt us longer term. Why am I saying that? Well, if you start to think about it, there are so many economical bad things that are happening for the people. For a lot of the companies, though, the bigger ones, it's still going well. How is that so? Well, even though in general, most people got off worse because of the pandemic, a lot of the big guys, people with big money, big companies, like, for example, Amazon, they got off better because of it because, well, people still buy stuff and people are kind of bored and stuff like that. And ultimately, you can sometimes say that that's all being planned out. I don't know if I can say that. Another one is, of course, the election, which a lot of people are kind of confused about with why that is happening. Is it China that's helping that? Is it what? I don't really know. But it's also strange that everything is happening at the same time. We're talking about CBDCs. We're talking about this newer technology. We're talking about a financial reset, and we're talking about a grid reset. All right, we're talking about all this type of stuff at the same time, and things are looking pretty damn crazy. By the way, this video might be recorded a little bit earlier than you see it. The reason I do that type of stuff is not because I want to pre-record, because otherwise I could just make it a long time before and I'd just not show you this. But the main reason I'm doing that is because I want to predict things and tell you guys things. And I want them to be right because I kind of thought at the same level as you did, all right? So you are seeing it in hindsight, yes, but at least you're seeing my thoughts. And a couple of hours later, we can check if it really pulled through or not, right? You guys get me? Because otherwise, if I were to make the video exactly when things are happening, I would most likely have to keep saying, yeah, you see, this is what I predicted. Yeah, I could have told you this a couple hours ago, but, I couldn't make a video then. So, yeah, yeah, sorry, guys. And I don't want to be that guy. So I'm trying to make these videos always a little bit beforehand so I can, do it properly. At least that's my theory behind that. However, that's not the one thing that's going on, guys. Multiple places have shown and have indicated that, first of all, there's going to be heavy institutions who are going to be heading over into crypto because, well, first of all, it's a safe haven, but also it is not tied to any specific country. And this part is what keeps me going all the time. And that is that we got those trillions of dollars, and I had it open on Fortune here a second ago. Let me open it back up here. There are these trillions of dollars and these big dollar debates going around. Let me show you guys this little thing here. If you go down here a little bit, you'll see a couple of things which I found very fascinating. And one of them is this one right here. $1 trillion in stimulus at stake, yada, yada, yada. And again, stimulus cliff, yada, yada, yada. What you need to understand is people are afraid of heavy inflation, or they're afraid of the devaluation of their currency. Mostly because of heavy monetary policy, but also because there could be some shadier things at play that we do not know about, right? Maybe something is happening, maybe it's not. And that question and that uncertainty also on a global level where people are afraid that the US might not be doing everything according to the book, if we're talking about election and stuff like that. Ripple's XRP surges 70% as Bitcoin craze sends investors flocking to smaller crypto. One thing I always keep reminding you guys of is that whenever altcoins run, 9 out of 10 times it will be because Bitcoin ran first. Now, right now we're not seeing that, which is interesting, but that has also shown that our space is first of all changing, but also that Bitcoin's gains have now already transferred over into altcoins, and people are buying these ones heavily, all right, heavily, because Bitcoin has made some moves and institutions are hopping on in. They've made a lot of money with Bitcoin, and now they're trying to make money with other ones. Because theoretically speaking, Bitcoin hit its all-time high. It's just below that, but let's just see it a little bit hypothetically here. It hit its all-time high, and now they have to diversify again because then they can get double gains, right? It's kind of logical why they would go for tactics like that, in my opinion. Institutional investment in crypto is skyrocketing, says Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. Ripple CEO said institutional investment in crypto is skyrocketing. In a recent interview with Fortune, the Ripple chief executive said his company may be forced to leave the US due to regulations, but in general, that first sentence is the most important one. Institutions are hopping on in. And why do I know that so certain? Well, I kind of lost the article here, which I wanted to really use as a base. I think that's it's kind of stuck in another tab here then. I don't know exactly where it would be. I think it's stuck somewhere in this tab. However, the point is that Raoul Pal and a lot of these others have also said here, they are buying up all this crypto. Who? Square and PayPal, the majority of it, all the Bitcoin is being mined every single day, but also Grayscale. And these institutions, these bigger players, they keep that crypto and they sell it on their platforms, but they keep the underlying crypto for themselves. All right, it is theirs. It is in their hands. You got to understand that. So it will never go out again, possibly. $20 billion in crypto custody or under custody. Coinbase sees explosion of capital from institutional investors. I'm telling you guys, they're not letting you know this much. They're saying, oh, it is retail FOMO. Yeah, retail guys have sold right now. No, it is institutions manipulating this money, trying to get you to cash out at the bottom and then pumping it back up. It happens time upon time upon time again, and you gotta be careful. Look at this, guys. A couple of days ago, we went back down. Right now, we're pumping back up. Why? Well, guys, because they want you to sell. It's like a proof of weak hands, even though that's an algorithm that I'm not trying to talk about right now. I'm talking about they're trying to see who's shaky enough, who's afraid enough of this big bad boy crypto to sell, and then you lose your money, they make money. Logic, right? Logic. And that's not what you see with retail FOMO, because with retail FOMO, what you would see is we would go even higher because retail would buy in. We would go crazy high with some crazy spikes, and this is not even crazy spikes that I'm talking about here. And then we would get plopped on the head. Not just these small fall downs, we would fall down all the gains that we saw before relatively quickly without remorse, without stop. We wouldn't go up like this again, try and retest. No. Institutions don't work that way. They want all or nothing kind of where they're just going to dump it all on your head. This is just institutions with a little bit of force, all right? This is no big institutional, bigger picture sell-off where they're waiting for retail. No, this is just institutions with small retail still. Just a little bit of a test. Then look at this one, 20 billion. Oh, I just said that actually. Again, it's going on. Keep that in mind. I joined in April this year, or at that time, our assets, institutional assets under custody were 6 billion. Today we said over 20 billion, so that's more than 3 times an increase. Week after week after week, we've had an explosion of incoming capital. We have seen an unbelievable wave of institutions follow Paul's lead, which is Paul Tudor Jones, who earlier said, again, 2% of his portfolio is in Bitcoin. And Jones said he saw much upside to Bitcoin, which got a lot of guys in. Keep that in mind as well. The more billionaires and the more hedge fund founders join, the more we'll also be seeing of those, and the more that will happen from that. Keep it in mind. JP Morgan analysis shows institutional investors moving from gold ETFs to Bitcoin. It is facts. These guys know as well as we do that with gold, you're going to get a way better ROI. It is just the truth. All right, again, this is not or financial advice, but it's really what we're thinking. So why would you stick to gold then if it's a store of value, but Bitcoin is as well? But Bitcoin will give you a higher ROI. Why do that? Then here, let me actually refresh this because I think we can. Bitcoin's massive rally is different from the speculative frenzy of 2017 as more institutional investors buy in, says Mike Novogratz. What do all these billionaires have in common? Well, they know as well as we do that this is not retail-driven speculative frenzy. This is not a hype run that we saw in 2017. This is built up. This keeps testing all the levels. It keeps correcting properly before going back up. This is not an unsustainable run like we saw in 2017. Get it? All right? This is going properly. At least that's what we're seeing right now. Maybe things will hit the fan and switch around, but it's not looking that way. It's looking like we're going to be going up again, and I'm pretty freaking bullish right now, guys. I'm really, really happy. And by the way, whenever I make these videos where I'm bullish or even maybe a little bit bearish, it is not that I'm, trying to make you guys buy or that I'm going to be doing something very irrational. I always tell you guys exactly what I'm doing in terms of buying or selling because of rational thought and because of everything that's thought out. You know, I put everything in a sheet of my own like this. Again, I'm not going to share that, obviously, because I would not want to, share how much I have or what exactly I want to cash out at or buy at, because I think that's a little bit kind of sketchy and kind of strange to do. But I'm just trying to give you guys examples of what you could go for and how this would work. Again, if this were to roll out and you would have 60,000 invested in total, or you'd have 84,000 XRP, this would make you $1 million, crazy. Or at least 1.1 million in sales, or 1.1 million in profit as well, kind of. Let's move on. XRP's price surges to 2-year high as airdrop frenzy builds. I still don't think that's the thing that's causing this. I've said it time upon time again. I do not think so. However, people would agree to disagree. I think it's the bigger institutions buying and selling, but you may say it's Flare. Binance confirmed support for it. Again, I don't think it's reasonable to consume that. And some guys will always claim that prices are going lower. I just want to say that we have to test levels. We have to test. If we do that, and as long as we do that properly, prices can continue to go upwards, and we will most likely keep seeing that. But here we can see we have a double bottom possibly, right? It's not exactly to the dot, but on this one, it kind of looks like a double bottom before going back up there. Definitely does look like that. I don't know. Things are looking juicy anyway, guys. I don't think a correction of 13,000 is coming. But even if we do, we know now from watching all of this, the longer term is solid. The longer term is set in place. And we've already hit all-time high right now for Bitcoin anyway. So it's altcoin time, right? For me, at least. I think it's altcoin time. I would even be so crazy to say that XRP, XLM, ADA are going to outshadow Bitcoin in just like a couple of days. Not in terms of market cap, but just in terms of gains here. By waiting for Bitcoin, I think you're really missing out by going for XRP, ADA, and XLM. But again, that's just a bet, because who can really tell, right? It's just really nice to see that these coins are pumping again, and they'll most likely do so for a little while. I'm really, really happy to see all of this.